How to Get Better Every Single Day, written and published by Audiobook fans, is a practical guide to lasting personal growth. It's not about quick fixes or overnight changes. It's about small, consistent actions that lead to meaningful results over time. Every day is a chance to move forward, no matter where you're starting from. This book offers actionable steps to help you build discipline, sharpen your mindset, and develop habits that align with your goals. It challenges you to confront what's holding you back, embrace discomfort, and commit to daily improvement. If you're ready to take control of your journey and create a life of purpose and progress, this book will show you how. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Power of One Day. The power of one day is a concept so simple that it's often overlooked, yet it carries the potential to transform your entire life. Think about it. Everything you've ever achieved, every decision you've made, and every moment you've experienced has unfolded within the framework of a single day. That's how life works, one day at a time. And yet many of us underestimate the value of this 24-hour window, treating it like an insignificant piece of a much larger puzzle. But the truth is, today is all you really have. Let's start here. Yesterday is gone. You can't touch it, fix it, or relive it. It exists now only as a memory, a collection of moments stored in your mind. Whether yesterday was filled with triumphs or mistakes, it's over. It has no power to influence you unless you choose to carry its weight. And tomorrow? Tomorrow is a possibility, a hope, not a certainty. We like to think we'll have endless tomorrows to get things right, but the reality is that tomorrow isn't promised to anyone. What you have is today, right here, right now. This moment, this day, is your chance to change the course of your life. It might sound dramatic, but it's true. The actions you take today, no matter how small, have a ripple effect. A single decision made with purpose can set off a chain reaction that alters your future in ways you can't even imagine. That's the power of one day. It's the seed from which everything else grows. Let me ask you this. What if you approach today with the mindset that it matters? Not just as another routine 24 hours, but as an opportunity to get closer to the person you want to become. Imagine waking up and deciding that today is the day you'll take one meaningful step forward. That step doesn't have to be grand or groundbreaking. It could be as simple as drinking more water, starting that book you've been meaning to read, or finally having that conversation you've been putting off. The size of the action doesn't matter as much as the intent behind it. What often holds people back is the belief that improvement has to happen in big, dramatic ways. We think we need to overhaul our lives overnight to see real change. But that's not how it works. Change is built on small, consistent actions taken day after day. It's not the one-time grand gestures that define your growth. It's the quiet, deliberate choices you make when no one is watching. Think about the habits you already have, the things you do without even thinking. Those habits weren't built in a day. They were formed through repetition, through the choices you made repeatedly, until they became second nature. The same principle applies to building better habits. Every time you choose to act in alignment with your goals, you're reinforcing a pattern. Over time, those patterns become habits, and those habits shape your life. Let's bring it closer to home. Picture yourself at the end of the day, lying in bed and reflecting on how you spent your time. Did you move closer to your goals, or did the day slip away unnoticed? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? But it's also a powerful motivator. Knowing that every day is a chance to either build or break your future can inspire you to approach your time with intention. One of the most common excuses people use is, "I'll start tomorrow." We've all said it. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you'll start exercising, eating healthier, or working on that dream project tomorrow. The problem with this mindset is that tomorrow always feels safer. It feels like a fresh start, free from the mistakes of today. But here's the hard truth. If you're not willing to start today, you're unlikely to start tomorrow. Procrastination doesn't create change, action does. Taking action today doesn't have to mean changing everything at once. In fact, trying to do too much at once often leads to burnout and frustration. Instead, focus on just one thing you can do to improve. Maybe it's committing to 10 minutes of exercise, reading a chapter of a book, or taking a moment to plan your schedule. These small actions might not seem like much, but they add up, and when you repeat them consistently, they create momentum. Momentum is one of the most underrated forces in personal growth. When you take one step forward, it becomes easier to take the next step, and then the next. That's how progress works. It builds upon itself. The key is to start, even if it feels small or imperfect. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. The only perfect moment is the one you're in right now. Let's not ignore the reality that some days are harder than others. There will be days when you feel unmotivated, tired or overwhelmed. On those days, the power of one day becomes even more important. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep going. Even taking the smallest step on a tough day is a victory because it keeps you moving forward. Progress doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. As you go through today, ask yourself this: what can I do right now to make my life better, even by 1%? It might seem like a tiny improvement, but over time those 1% changes add up. They compound into something far greater than the sum of their parts. This is why it's so important to treat each day as an opportunity, not a throwaway. At the end of the day, the power of one day isn't just about what you do, it's about how you see the world. When you realize that today is your most valuable resource, you start to approach life with more urgency and purpose. You stop waiting for the right time and start making the most of the time you have. You understand that every decision you make, no matter how small, contributes to the person you're becoming. So here's the challenge: commit to making today count. Don't worry about yesterday, and don't get caught up in the uncertainty of tomorrow. Focus on what you can do right now, in this moment, to improve your life. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real. Chapter 2. Start with clarity. When we talk about getting better every single day, the first step is knowing where you're headed. Improvement isn't random. You don't just stumble into becoming a better version of yourself. It's deliberate, intentional, and it starts with clarity. Without clarity, you're like a ship at sea, without a destination. You might drift for a while, but you won't get anywhere meaningful. So the question is, how clear are you about what you want and where you're going? Clarity is about knowing what matters to you. It's about understanding your values, your goals, and the life you want to create. But let's be honest, most people haven't spent much time thinking about this. We get caught up in routines, responsibilities, and the noise of daily life. We wake up, go through the motions, and repeat the cycle. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly, years have passed, and we're left wondering where all the time went. The truth is, if you don't decide what you want, life will decide for you. And let me tell you, life isn't always kind in making those decisions. You'll find yourself pulled in 100 different directions, following what others expect of you or what feels urgent in the moment. That's why clarity is so important. It puts you back in the driver's seat. It gives you a sense of control and direction. The first step to gaining clarity is taking a moment to step back and reflect. This isn't something you rush through. It requires you to pause, Tune out the distractions and ask yourself some honest questions. What do you really want out of life? What kind of person do you want to become? What does better look like for you? These questions might sound simple, but they're not always easy to answer. That's because we're not used to thinking deeply about ourselves. Start with what feels most important to you right now. Is it your health, your relationships, your career, your sense of purpose? Clarity doesn't mean you have to figure out every single detail of your life overnight. It's about identifying the areas that matter most and focusing your energy there. Once you've done that, you can start breaking those big ideas into smaller, actionable goals. Here's an example. Let's say you realize your health is a priority. That's a great start, but it's not clear enough yet. What does better health look like for you? Does it mean losing weight, gaining strength, having more energy? The more specific you can get, the better. Maybe you decide that you want to lose 10 pounds and have enough energy to keep up with your kids. That's a clear goal, and it gives you something to aim for. The next step is asking yourself why this goal matters. This is where clarity becomes powerful. When you know your why, you're more likely to stay committed. Let's go back to the health example. If your goal is to lose weight and have more energy, why is that important? Maybe it's because you want to feel confident in your own skin. Maybe it's because you want to set a positive example for your children. Whatever your reason, write it down. Keep it in front of you. Your why is what will keep you going when the initial excitement wears off. Clarity isn't just about setting goals. It's also about aligning your actions with your values. Think about the kind of person you want to be. What qualities do you admire in others? What principles guide your decisions? If you want to be someone who's kind, disciplined, or hardworking, ask yourself if your daily actions reflect those values. If they don't, it's time to make adjustments. One of the biggest obstacles to clarity is comparison. It's easy to look at what others are doing and feel like you're falling behind. Social media makes this even worse. You see highlight reels of other people's lives and start doubting your own path. But here's the thing. Clarity is deeply personal. It's not about what looks good to others. It's about what feels right to you. Your journey is your own, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Another obstacle is fear. Sometimes we avoid getting clear on what we want because we're afraid of failing. We think, what if I set this goal and don't achieve it? What if I try and it doesn't work out? But clarity isn't about guaranteeing success. It's about giving yourself direction. Even if things don't go as planned, you'll learn and grow along the way. That's part of the process. Clarity also requires honesty. It's tempting to set goals based on what we think we should do, rather than what we truly want. Maybe you feel pressure to pursue a certain career because it's what your family expects, or you think you should aim for a specific lifestyle because it's what society values. But living someone else's version of success will never bring you fulfillment. Take the time to ask yourself what success looks like for you, not for anyone else. Once you have a sense of clarity, the next step is to create a plan. This doesn't mean you need to map out every single detail of your life. Plans can and should be flexible, but having a general direction is crucial. Think of it like using a GPS. If you don't enter a destination, the GPS can't guide you. The same goes for your life. Without a sense of where you're headed, it's hard to make progress. Start small. Focus on the next step, not the entire staircase. If your goal is to improve your health, maybe your first step is drinking more water or going for a 10-minute walk each day. If your goal is to advance in your career, maybe your first step is taking a course or reaching out to a mentor. Small actions add up, and they build momentum. Clarity isn't something you achieve once and then forget about. It's an ongoing process. Life changes, priorities shift, and new opportunities arise. That's why it's important to regularly check in with yourself. Are your goals still aligned with your values? Are you making progress in the areas that matter most to you? If not, it's okay to adjust. Clarity isn't about sticking rigidly to a plan. It's about staying true to what's meaningful to you. At the end of the day, clarity gives you freedom. It frees you from the noise of distractions, the burden of indecision, and the trap of living a life that doesn't feel like your own. When you're clear about what you want and why it matters, you can move through life with confidence and purpose. You stop wasting time on things that don't align with your values, and you start focusing on what truly matters. So take a moment today to reflect. What do you want? Why does it matter? And what's one small step you can take right now to move closer to your vision? The answers might not come all at once, and that's okay. Clarity is a journey, not a destination, but every step you take brings you closer to the life you want to create. That's the power of starting with clarity. Chapter 3. Master your morning. Your morning is where the day begins, and how you start sets the tone for everything that follows. If you rush into your day feeling scattered, tired, or overwhelmed, that energy follows you. On the other hand, if you start your morning with intention, focus, and a sense of control, you create a foundation that helps you move through the day with clarity and purpose. This isn't just about being productive. It's about owning your time and taking charge of how you live. Think about your typical morning. Do you hit the snooze button a few times, roll out of bed at the last possible minute, and rush through your routine just to get out the door or start your work? If so, you're not alone. For many people, mornings are a blur of chaos. But here's the thing, when your mornings are chaotic, it's hard to recover. It's like starting a race by stumbling out of the gate. Sure, you can catch up, but it's much harder than starting strong. The key to mastering your morning is to create a routine that works for you. This doesn't mean you need to wake up at 4 a.m. or follow some complicated schedule. It's not about copying someone else's routine. It's about designing one that fits your life and sets you up for success. The goal is to start your day feeling calm, prepared, and in control. First, let's talk about waking up. Your morning routine begins the night before. If you're staying up too late, scrolling on your phone or watching TV, you're setting yourself up for failure before the day even begins. A good night's sleep is essential, not just for your energy levels, but also for your focus, mood, and overall well-being. Set a consistent bedtime, create a relaxing evening routine, and make sleep a priority. When you wake up feeling rested, everything becomes easier. When it's time to get up, resist the urge to hit snooze. Those extra few minutes of sleep don't actually help you feel more rested. They just delay the inevitable and make it harder to get moving. Instead, set an alarm for a time that gives you enough space to go through your morning routine without rushing. Waking up early enough to have some quiet time for yourself before the world starts demanding your attention can be a game changer. The first moments of your day are crucial. Instead of grabbing your phone and diving into emails, messages, or social media, take a moment to connect with yourself. Think about your intentions for the day. What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to show up in the world? This simple act of setting an intention can help you approach your day with purpose rather than letting it unfold randomly. Many people find it helpful to start their mornings with some form of mindfulness. This could be meditation, deep breathing, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts. It doesn't have to take long. Just a few minutes to center yourself can make a big difference. When you start your day with mindfulness, you create a sense of calm that helps you navigate challenges more effectively. Another powerful way to begin your morning is by moving your body. Exercise isn't just about physical health, it's also about mental clarity and emotional resilience. You don't have to do an intense workout. Stretching, yoga, or a short walk can be just as effective. The goal is to wake up your body and get your blood flowing. Physical movement helps you shake off grogginess, boosts your mood, and sets the stage for a productive day. Fueling your body is just as important as moving it. A nutritious breakfast gives you the energy you need to focus and perform at your best. Avoid the temptation to skip breakfast or grab something quick and unhealthy. Instead, choose foods that nourish your body and support your goals. A balanced meal with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates can make a huge difference in how you feel throughout the day. Once you've taken care of your body and mind, it's time to focus on your priorities. Spend a few minutes reviewing your schedule or making a to-do list. What needs to get done today? What are the most important tasks that will move you closer to your goals? By identifying your priorities in the morning, you set yourself up to tackle them with focus and determination. It's easy to get distracted by urgent but unimportant tasks, but when you start your day with clarity, you're more likely to stay on track. Gratitude is another powerful practice to incorporate into your morning. Taking a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for can shift your mindset and set a positive tone for the day. It's easy to focus on what's wrong or what you wish were different, but gratitude helps you see the good in your life. It reminds you of your blessings and keeps you grounded. Your morning routine doesn't have to be long or complicated. The key is to include activities that help you feel grounded, energized, and focused. Experiment with different practices to find what works best for you. Maybe it's journaling, reading, or spending time in nature. Maybe it's listening to music, praying, or enjoying a quiet cup of coffee. Whatever it is, make it intentional. Your morning is your time. It's an investment in yourself. Consistency is what makes a morning routine powerful. Doing it once or twice won't change your life, but doing it every day creates habits that lead to lasting improvement. Over time, your morning routine becomes second nature, and you start to notice the ripple effects in every area of your life. You feel more focused, more productive, and more in control. You start to approach each day with a sense of purpose and possibility. It's important to remember that no one's morning routine is perfect all the time. There will be days when things don't go as planned, and that's okay. Life happens, and flexibility is part of the process. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just pick up where you left off and keep going. What matters is the effort you put in and the consistency you build over time. When you master your morning, you master your day. And when you master your day, you start to master your life. It all begins with those first few moments after you wake up. You have the power to choose how you start your day. You can let it happen to you, or you can take control and make it happen for you. The choice is yours. Chapter 4: The Discipline of Showing Up. When it comes to improving your life, there's one principle that stands out above all the rest: the discipline of showing up. It's simple, but it's powerful. If you want to get better at anything, you have to be there. You have to put yourself in the game, again and again, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on around you. Showing up is the foundation of success, and it separates those who talk about their dreams from those who actually achieve them. The truth is, life isn't always going to make it easy for you to show up. There will be days when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, unmotivated, or discouraged. There will be times when progress feels slow, or when you question whether the effort is even worth it. But here's the thing: showing up doesn't require you to be perfect or to feel 100%. It just requires you to take action, even when it's hard. Think about the people who inspire you, whether they're athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, or anyone else who's achieved something meaningful. What do they all have in common? They didn't just work hard on the good days, they worked hard on the bad days too. They showed up when it was raining, when they were exhausted, when they didn't know if they were making any progress. That's what it takes. The discipline of showing up is about consistency, and consistency is what leads to results. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need to wait for the right time to start, or that you need to feel motivated to take action. But motivation is fleeting. Some days it's there, and some days it's not. If you rely on motivation, you'll always be at the mercy of your emotions. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It's something you can rely on because it's built on habits and commitment, not fleeting feelings. Showing up doesn't mean you have to do everything perfectly. In fact, perfectionism can be one of the biggest obstacles to showing up consistently. Too often we think, if I can't do it perfectly, why bother doing it at all? But that mindset keeps you stuck. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Some effort, no matter how small, is always better than none. A 10-minute workout is better than skipping it altogether. Writing one paragraph is better than not writing at all. Every little bit counts, and those small actions add up over time. There's something empowering about showing up, even when it's hard. Every time you do, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of following through. You're building trust in yourself, which is one of the most important things you can do. When you trust yourself, you start to believe in your ability to handle challenges and achieve your goals. You become someone who keeps their promises to others and, more importantly, to yourself. One of the biggest myths about showing up is that it has to feel good in the moment. The truth is, it often doesn't. Growth is uncomfortable. Pushing yourself to do something difficult or unfamiliar can be challenging. But discomfort is where the magic happens. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're expanding your capacity. You're becoming stronger, more resilient, and more capable. And the best part is, the more you show up, the easier it becomes. What once felt hard starts to feel natural, and that's when you know you're growing. It's important to recognize that showing up doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own. Sometimes, the best way to stay consistent is to surround yourself with people who share your goals or who can hold you accountable. Whether it's a workout partner, a mentor, or a supportive friend, having someone in your corner can make all the difference. They can encourage you when you're struggling, celebrate your wins, and remind you why you started in the first place. Another key to showing up consistently is to focus on your why. Why are you doing this? What's the deeper purpose behind your actions? When you connect your efforts to something meaningful, it's easier to stay committed. Maybe you're working toward a healthier lifestyle because you want to be there for your family. Maybe you're pursuing a career goal because it aligns with your passion and values. Whatever it is, keep that why front and center. Write it down, remind yourself of it daily, and let it fuel your discipline. One thing to remember is that showing up doesn't always look the same. Some days it's about giving your all and pushing yourself to the limit. Other days it's about doing the bare minimum just to keep the habit alive. Both are valid. The key is to not let a single day go by without taking some kind of action, no matter how small. Progress isn't always linear, but as long as you're moving forward, you're on the right track. It's also helpful to remove as many barriers as possible. Make it easy to show up by creating an environment that supports your goals. If you want to exercise more, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to read more, keep a book on your nightstand instead of your phone. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious options. These small adjustments can make a big difference in your ability to follow through. There will be days when you stumble, and that's okay. Missing a day or falling short doesn't mean you've failed. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. Don't let one slip-up turn into a downward spiral. Forgive yourself, learn from it, and move forward. The discipline of showing up is about persistence, not perfection. Ultimately, showing up is an act of self-respect. It's a way of honoring your goals, your dreams, and the person you want to become. Every time you show up, you're taking a step closer to that vision. You're proving to yourself that you're worth the effort, that your goals matter, and that you have what it takes to achieve them. So start today. Start where you are, with what you have. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Just take the first step, no matter how small, and then take another. Before you know it, those small steps will turn into a journey, and that journey will lead you to places you never thought possible. Showing up isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Chapter 5. Strengthen your body. Strengthen your mind. Taking care of your body is not just about looking good or reaching a number on a scale. It's about building the foundation for a strong mind, a resilient spirit, and a meaningful life. Your body is the vessel that carries you through each day. It's the tool you rely on to think, to move, to create, and to connect with others. When you prioritize your physical health, you're not just investing in your appearance, you're investing in your ability to live fully and give your best to the world. Strengthening your body and mind starts with recognizing the deep connection between the two. When your body is healthy and energized, your mind is sharper. You think more clearly, you make better decisions, and you're more equipped to handle life's challenges. On the flip side, when your body is neglected, your mental clarity and emotional balance often suffer. It's all connected, and it starts with how you treat yourself each day. The way you move your body is one of the most powerful ways to improve both your physical and mental health. Regular exercise isn't just about burning calories or building muscles. It's about building resilience and discipline. It's about showing up for yourself, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Movement releases endorphins, the feel-good chemicals in your brain that help reduce stress and boost your mood. It also gives you a sense of accomplishment, no matter how small the workout might be. You don't have to train like an athlete to reap the benefits of physical activity. It's not about doing the most, it's about doing what works for you consistently. Find something you enjoy, whether it's walking, yoga, swimming, or lifting weights. What matters is that you move your body in a way that feels good and sustainable. Even a 10-minute walk can make a difference. It's about making movement a habit, a natural part of your daily routine, rather than something you have to force yourself to do. Beyond exercise, what you put into your body plays a critical role in how you feel and perform. Food is fuel, and the choices you make at each meal either move you closer to health or farther away from it. Eating well doesn't mean you have to follow strict diets or eliminate entire food groups. It means paying attention to what your body needs, nutrient-rich foods that give you energy and support your goals. When you eat foods that nourish you, you feel better, think more clearly, and have the stamina to keep going. It's not just about what you eat, but how you eat. Slow down and really enjoy your meals. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and how the food makes you feel. Avoid distractions like your phone or TV when you eat. This simple practice of mindful eating can help you build a healthier relationship with food and make better choices over time. Sleep is another pillar of physical and mental health that's often overlooked. In a world that glorifies hustle and busyness, rest is sometimes seen as a luxury. But the truth is, sleep is non-negotiable. It's when your body repairs itself, your brain processes information, and your energy is restored. Without enough sleep, It's hard to think clearly, manage your emotions, or perform at your best. Prioritize a consistent bedtime, create a relaxing evening routine, and make your bedroom a space for rest. Treat sleep as the essential investment in your well-being that it is. Taking care of your body also means paying attention to stress. Stress is inevitable, but how you respond to it makes all the difference. When stress builds up, it can take a toll on your body, leading to tension, fatigue, and even illness. Incorporating stress relief practices into your daily life, like deep breathing, meditation, or spending time in nature, can help you manage it more effectively. These practices don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Even a few moments of stillness can help you reset and find your center. Your physical health doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's deeply tied to your emotional and mental well-being. Strengthening your body is one of the most direct ways to build resilience in your mind. When you push through a tough workout or stick to a commitment to yourself, you're not just building muscle, you're building mental toughness. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things, and that confidence spills over into other areas of your life. There will be days when you don't feel like taking care of yourself, days when the couch feels more inviting than the gym, or when convenience tempts you to reach for unhealthy choices. On those days, remind yourself why you started. Remember that every small step you take toward your health is a step toward a better version of yourself. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Even on the hard days, show up for yourself because you're worth the effort. Taking care of your body isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you're strong, healthy and energized, you're better able to show up for the people you care about. You have more to give, more patience, and more capacity to handle whatever life throws your way. You're also setting an example for those around you, showing them what it looks like to prioritize health and self-care. Strengthening your body and mind isn't something you do once and forget about. It's a lifelong commitment, a daily practice. It's about making choices today that will benefit you tomorrow and years down the road. It's about respecting the incredible gift of your body and treating it with the care it deserves. When you take care of your body, you're not just improving your health, you're improving your life. You're creating a foundation for success in every area, from your relationships to your career to your personal growth. You're building the strength and resilience you need to pursue your goals and live the life you want. And it all starts with the simple daily choice to show up for yourself, to move, to nourish, to rest, and to keep going. Chapter 6. Learn something new every day. Every single day presents you with an opportunity to grow, and one of the most powerful ways to do that is by learning something new. There's a special kind of energy that comes from expanding your understanding, gaining a new skill, or seeing the world in a way you didn't before. Learning doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you more alive. It gives you a sense of progress, a feeling that you're moving forward instead of standing still. And when you commit to learning every day, even in small ways, you start to build momentum. That momentum can carry you to places you never imagined. Learning isn't limited to classrooms or formal education. It's not about chasing degrees or certifications, though those have their place. It's about curiosity. It's about waking up every day and asking, what can I discover today? The beauty of it is that learning opportunities are everywhere. They're in books, podcasts, conversations, mistakes, and even in the quiet moments when you stop to reflect. You don't have to go far or spend a fortune to find something worth learning. You just have to keep your mind open and your eyes looking for those opportunities. The first step to becoming a lifelong learner is recognizing that you don't have to know it all. In fact, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. That's not a reason to feel discouraged. It's a reason to feel excited. Life is a vast and fascinating thing, and every day gives you a chance to uncover a little more of it. When you embrace that mindset, learning stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like an adventure. One of the simplest ways to make learning a daily habit is to read. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, written by people who've dedicated their lives to understanding a particular subject or mastering a skill. Reading is like having a conversation with those people, gaining insights from their experiences without having to make all the mistakes yourself. Whether it's a book, an article, or even a blog post, what you consume matters. Choose materials that challenge you, that make you think, and that give you tools you can use to improve your life. But learning doesn't have to stop with reading. There are countless other ways to expand your knowledge. You can listen to podcasts or audiobooks during your commute or while doing chores. You can watch educational videos or documentaries that dive into topics you've always been curious about. You can take online courses or workshops to pick up new skills, whether it's coding, cooking, or public speaking. The point is, there's no shortage of ways to learn. It's just a matter of finding what works for you and making it a priority. One of the most underrated sources of learning is the people around you. Everyone has a story, an experience, or a piece of wisdom that you can learn from if you're willing to listen. Sometimes the most valuable lessons come from conversations with friends, family, or even strangers. Ask questions, be curious about their perspectives and experiences. You'd be amazed at what you can learn just by being present and engaged. Mistakes are another powerful teacher, though they don't always feel that way in the moment. When something goes wrong, it's easy to get caught up in frustration or disappointment. But if you take a step back, every mistake has something to teach you. It might show you a better way to do something, or it might reveal a blind spot you didn't know you had. Either way, mistakes are not failures, they're lessons in disguise. The key is to approach them with a mindset of growth, asking yourself, what can I learn from this, instead of why did this happen to me? Reflection is also a crucial part of the learning process. At the end of each day, take a moment to think about what you learned. What did you discover about yourself, about others, or about the world? What worked well, and what didn't? Reflection doesn't have to be a long or complicated process. It can be as simple as jotting down a few thoughts in a journal or sharing your insights with a friend. The act of looking back helps you cement what you've learned and prepares you to move forward with more intention. Learning something new every day doesn't have to feel overwhelming. It's not about mastering a new language in a week or becoming an expert overnight. It's about small, consistent steps that add up over time. Maybe today you learn a new word, tomorrow you try a new recipe, and the next day you dive into a chapter of a book that challenges your thinking. Each little piece contributes to the bigger picture, and before you know it, you've grown in ways you didn't think possible. One of the best parts about learning is that it keeps you humble. It reminds you that no matter how much you know, there's always more to discover. That humility is a gift because it keeps you curious and open. It helps you approach life with a sense of wonder instead of assuming you have it all figured out. When you're open to learning, you're also open to growth, and that's what life is all about. Learning isn't just about gaining knowledge, it's about applying it. Knowledge without action is just information. To truly get better every day, take what you've learned and put it into practice. If you read about a new productivity technique, try it out. If you learn a new fact, share it with someone else. If you discover a better way to communicate, use it in your relationships. Learning comes alive when you use it to make a difference in your life or the lives of others. The more you learn, the more opportunities you create for yourself. Knowledge opens doors. It gives you confidence, equips you to tackle challenges, and helps you see possibilities where others see roadblocks. But more than that, learning enriches your life. It makes each day more interesting, more rewarding, and more fulfilling. It's a reminder that you're not stuck, you're always growing, always evolving, always becoming a better version of yourself. If there's one thing to take away, it's this: never stop being curious. Never stop asking questions, exploring new ideas, or challenging yourself to grow. Life is too short and too full of wonder to stay in the same place. Every day is a chance to learn, to expand your mind, and to take another step forward. Embrace it and watch how your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Chapter 7. Build emotional resilience. Emotions are a part of who we are. They shape our responses, they shape our relationships, and they influence our actions. It's easy to let emotions dictate how we feel or what we do in any given moment. But if we want to get better every day, if we want to grow, we must learn to manage our emotions instead of being controlled by them. The challenge here is to build emotional resilience, the ability to recover quickly from difficulties, to adapt to stressful situations, and to keep moving forward despite the hurdles life throws at us. Emotional resilience doesn't mean we don't feel anything. It means we're not overwhelmed by our emotions. We're not controlled by them. Instead, we learn to navigate through them with clarity, strength, and patience. Let's talk about what this looks like in real life. Imagine you're facing a setback, a tough day at work, an argument with a friend, or a personal disappointment. It's easy to react emotionally, to let frustration or sadness consume you. But emotional resilience is about taking a step back, recognizing that this moment, while difficult, is temporary. It's about understanding that you have the power to decide how you respond. One of the first steps in building emotional resilience is awareness. You must be aware of your emotions as they arise. It's not enough to wait until you're in the midst of a crisis to recognize that you're upset. You must pay attention to how you feel in every situation, whether it's minor annoyances or major challenges. When you can identify the emotion, anger, sadness, fear, frustration, you gain the power to manage it. You can pause, reflect, and choose a response rather than react impulsively. Once you recognize what you're feeling, it's time to check in with yourself and ask why you feel the way you do. What triggered this emotion? Was it something you heard, something someone said, something you assumed? Understanding the root cause of your emotions helps you gain clarity on how to move forward. Often, we let our emotions take over because we haven't taken the time to dig deeper into why we feel a certain way. This process isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about understanding them, managing them, and allowing yourself to feel them fully without being consumed by them. It's important to acknowledge your emotions, even if they're uncomfortable. Denying or ignoring them only allows them to build up, often leading to bigger reactions down the road. Next, let's talk about the power of perspective. Emotional resilience is greatly shaped by how we view our circumstances. The world doesn't always treat us the way we think we deserve, but how we interpret these experiences determines how we move forward. When things go wrong, when you face disappointment or loss, try to shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I grow from this experience? A resilient person doesn't see failure as the end, they see it as a stepping stone. They understand that mistakes are part of life, part of growth, and most importantly, they understand that how they react to these setbacks is what truly matters. Are they going to dwell on the setback, or will they take the lesson and use it to build something better moving forward? Resilient people know that their worth is not determined by their mistakes, but by how they handle them. Part of emotional resilience also comes from self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when you feel like you've messed up, but this only weakens your emotional strength. Instead of beating yourself up, offer yourself kindness and understanding. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend who is going through a tough time. You'd remind them that it's okay to feel upset, but that the most important thing is to learn and move on. Do the same for yourself. This self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook or avoiding responsibility. It simply means acknowledging that you are human and it's okay to not be perfect. Developing emotional resilience also requires patience. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not about becoming emotionless or unshakable. It's about learning to respond to life's challenges with grace and calm, to process emotions in a healthy way, and to keep moving forward, no matter what. It's about taking those small steps every day that add up over time. The more you practice managing your emotions, the stronger your resilience will become. One important practice for building emotional resilience is developing healthy coping mechanisms. Everyone experiences stress and negative emotions, but how we deal with them makes all the difference. Some people might turn to unhealthy habits, drinking, overeating, or isolating themselves when they're feeling down. These may offer temporary relief, but they don't help you build true emotional strength. Instead, focus on positive coping strategies. Go for a walk, meditate, journal, or talk to a trusted friend. These actions not only help you release built-up tension, but they also provide you with a sense of control in difficult moments. Let's talk about the role of relationships in emotional resilience. The people around you can either build you up or tear you down. Surround yourself with individuals who support your growth, who help you see the best in yourself, and who challenge you to rise above difficult circumstances. At the same time, it's important to recognize that not everyone will treat you with kindness, and not everyone will support you. Emotional resilience means learning how to maintain your peace, regardless of others' behavior. It means not letting anyone or anything dictate how you feel. As you build your emotional resilience, it's essential to keep in mind that this is a lifelong process. There will be moments when you feel like you've made great progress, and then there will be moments when you fall back into old patterns. This is normal. Growth is never linear, but what matters is your commitment to getting better, to learning from every experience, and to continuing to push forward, no matter what. In conclusion, emotional resilience is the key to living a fulfilling, purposeful life. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges or feel difficult emotions, but it means you have the strength to handle whatever life throws at you. It means taking responsibility for your emotional well-being and recognizing that your emotions don't have to control you. By building emotional resilience, you're not just getting better day by day, you're setting yourself up to live a life that is unshaken, no matter what comes your way. Chapter 8. The Power of Reflection. There's a simple truth about life: we're all moving at a fast pace. We rush from one thing to the next, constantly pushing forward, always looking ahead. But in all that movement, how often do we actually take a moment to reflect, to sit with our thoughts and consider where we've been, where we're going, and what we've learned along the way? Reflection is often overlooked in our busy lives, but it's one of the most powerful tools we have to grow, improve, and get better every single day. Think about it for a moment. How do you really know if you're moving in the right direction if you never stop to assess where you are? Reflection allows us to evaluate our actions, our decisions, and the outcomes we're experiencing. Without it, we're just going through the motions, repeating the same patterns, without ever understanding why something works or why it doesn't. By taking the time to reflect, we can pinpoint areas where we need to improve, recognize what's been working well, and most importantly, acknowledge how far we've come. The first step in reflecting is creating space. We live in a world full of noise, distractions, and endless to-do lists. It's easy to get caught up in all of that and forget to slow down, but reflection requires stillness. It's not something that happens when you're rushing through your day or multitasking. You need quiet, undisturbed time to think, to process, and to truly evaluate your experiences. This doesn't mean you have to spend hours reflecting each day, but it does mean carving out intentional time, even if it's just 15 minutes at the end of the day, to ask yourself some important questions. What went well today? What did I learn? What could I have done better? These questions may seem simple, but they open up a world of insight. They allow you to recognize the positive things you accomplished, however small they may seem, and they help you see the areas where you can improve. It's easy to get bogged down by what didn't go as planned, but reflection helps us balance that with a recognition of what did work. When you reflect, try to avoid being overly critical. This isn't about beating yourself up over mistakes or missed opportunities. It's about looking at things from a place of curiosity and growth. Reflection is meant to be a tool for learning, not a moment for self-judgment. Instead of asking, "Why did I mess that up?" ask, "What can I learn from this situation?" When we shift our mindset from one of failure to one of learning, we open ourselves up to growth. One of the best ways to reflect is to write it down. Journaling is an incredibly effective practice for reflection. Putting your thoughts on paper helps you organize them, clarify your emotions, and track your progress over time. You might start by simply listing what happened during the day, then move into how you felt about it and what you learned from it. Over time, you'll be able to look back and see patterns, where you've grown, where you've struggled, and what you still need to work on. It's like having a conversation with yourself, one that gives you the space to reflect honestly and openly. Sometimes, the reflection process can feel uncomfortable. We don't always want to acknowledge our mistakes or face the reality that we didn't handle something as well as we could have. But discomfort is where growth happens. If we never face our shortcomings, we'll never improve. So when you reflect, be willing to sit with those uncomfortable feelings. Recognize that they're part of the journey. Growth is rarely easy, but it's always worth it. As you continue to reflect, you'll notice that it becomes easier over time. The more you make it a habit, the more natural it will feel. And as you grow, your reflections will evolve. You'll begin to ask deeper questions, challenge yourself more, and get clearer on the person you want to become. Reflection is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong practice. It's about being committed to the process of self-awareness, improvement, and growth. The benefits of reflection aren't just internal. Reflection can also strengthen your relationships with others. When you take the time to reflect on your interactions, you can become more aware of how you communicate, how you show up for others, and where you might need to improve. It allows you to identify patterns in your relationships, recognize where you're being supportive and where you might be falling short, and understand how to create deeper, more meaningful connections. Reflection also helps us stay aligned with our values and goals. It's easy to get off track when we don't take the time to stop and assess where we are. But when we reflect regularly, we're reminded of what truly matters to us. We reconnect with our purpose. If we want to get better every day, we have to stay true to our path, and reflection ensures that we don't lose sight of it. It keeps us focused on what's important, helping us make better decisions and avoid distractions that take us further from our goals. The key to reflection is consistency. Just like any other practice, It's the small daily efforts that add up to long-term progress. It's not about waiting for a major life event to make you stop and think. It's about taking those moments day by day to reflect on what's happening, what's working, and what's not. Even if it's just 5 minutes at the end of the day, that time can make a huge difference in your growth. As you reflect, be kind to yourself. Growth takes time, and it's a journey, not a destination. Some days will be harder than others, and there will be moments when it feels like you're not moving forward at all. But reflection gives you the ability to see the bigger picture, to understand that progress is not always linear. Even on the tough days, you're still moving forward. And with each reflection, you get one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. In the end, reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. It allows us to make sense of our experiences, learn from our mistakes, and celebrate our victories. It gives us the clarity and perspective we need to keep going, to stay focused, and to continue improving. Without reflection, we risk moving through life on autopilot, missing the lessons and opportunities that are right in front of us. But when we take the time to stop, think, and reflect, we unlock our true potential and move closer to the person we are meant to be. Chapter 9. The Role of Gratitude. Gratitude is one of those things that often gets brushed aside in our busy lives. We hear it mentioned everywhere, on social media, in books, in conversations with friends. It's almost become a buzzword. But when we slow down and really think about it, gratitude is more than just saying thank you or posting a picture of something you're thankful for. It's a mindset, a way of approaching life, and one of the most powerful tools we have for creating happiness and personal growth. Let's talk about why gratitude matters so much. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It pulls your focus away from what you lack and brings it squarely to what you have. In our world, it's easy to get caught up in the constant pursuit of more success, more things, more recognition. We live in a culture that tells us that happiness is something we must achieve, something that is always just a little bit out of reach. But gratitude tells a different story. It reminds us that we already have everything we need right now to be content. Think about the last time you felt genuinely grateful. Was it a small, simple moment, someone holding the door open for you, a message from a friend, a meal you didn't have to cook? Or was it something bigger, like a milestone you achieved, or a difficult time you made it through? Gratitude is about noticing those moments, big or small, and appreciating them for what they are. It's easy to take things for granted when they happen every day, but gratitude forces us to pause and acknowledge the beauty in the ordinary. When we make gratitude a habit, something we practice every day, it starts to change us. It rewires our brain. Studies show that when we practice gratitude consistently, we experience increased feelings of happiness, reduced stress, and better overall mental health. This is because gratitude forces us to look at the positive side of things, to appreciate what we have instead of focusing on what's missing. It helps us see the silver lining, even in difficult situations. Now, I know that sometimes life feels overwhelming. There are days when everything seems to go wrong, when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and gratitude feels like an impossible thing to practice. On those days, it's okay to acknowledge the struggle. It's okay to feel frustrated, sad, or angry. But even in those moments, gratitude has the power to lift us. It doesn't mean ignoring the tough stuff, but it means looking for the small things, however small, that you can be thankful for. Maybe it's the comfort of your bed after a long day, the warmth of the sun on your face, or the kindness of a stranger. Even when things are hard, there's always something to be thankful for. The practice of gratitude also helps us build resilience. Life is filled with challenges, and we're all going to face setbacks. But when we make gratitude a regular part of our routine, it gives us the strength to keep going, even when things aren't going our way. When we can find something to be thankful for, even in the toughest moments, we remind ourselves that the situation is temporary. The discomfort won't last forever. Gratitude helps us build the mental toughness to keep pushing forward, even when the road is difficult. So, how can we cultivate more gratitude in our lives? One simple way is to start a gratitude journal. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just a few minutes each day to write down the things you're thankful for. Maybe you'll start with something simple, like "I'm grateful for my health," or "I'm grateful for a roof over my head." As you keep writing, you'll start to notice more and more things to be grateful for. It's like training your brain to see the good in every day. But gratitude doesn't just have to be a solo practice. You can also express it to others. Think about the people in your life, your family, friends, co-workers, even strangers. How often do we take the time to tell someone we appreciate them? Gratitude is not just about feeling thankful, it's about sharing that feeling with others. A simple thank you, a note of appreciation, or a kind word can have a huge impact on someone's day. It reminds them that they matter, that they're valued, and it strengthens your connection with them. One of the beautiful things about gratitude is that it's contagious. When you practice gratitude, it spreads to the people around you. They begin to notice the positive shift in your attitude, and it encourages them to reflect on their own blessings. It creates a ripple effect of positivity, where gratitude flows from one person to the next, creating a cycle of appreciation and joy. Of course, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and forget to pause and be thankful. It's easy to focus on the problems, the things that aren't going right. But when you make gratitude a part of your daily life, it becomes easier to notice the good. It's like building a muscle. At first it might feel awkward or forced, but over time it becomes second nature. Gratitude is a choice. It's something you can choose to practice every day, regardless of what's going on in your life. You might not always feel like it, especially on the hard days, but choosing gratitude is a way of taking control of your mindset. It's about deciding to focus on what's working, what's going well, and what you can appreciate in any given moment. And when you do that, you change your experience of the world. You begin to see things in a new light, and suddenly, life feels a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter. The benefits of gratitude are undeniable. It reduces stress, increases happiness, improves relationships, and helps us stay grounded in the present moment. But it's not just about what gratitude does for us, it's also about what it does for the world around us. When we practice gratitude, we inspire others to do the same. We create an environment where appreciation and kindness thrive, and we remind everyone that even in difficult times, there's always something to be thankful for. Gratitude is the key to unlocking a richer, more fulfilling life. It doesn't require any special skills, and it doesn't take much time. It's simply a shift in perspective, a choice to look for the good in every day. And when you make that choice, you begin to see that life is filled with blessings, big and small. The more you practice gratitude, the more you realize that everything you need to be happy and successful is already within your reach. It's just a matter of recognizing it and appreciating it for what it is. In the end, gratitude isn't just something we feel, it's something we do. It's about choosing to focus on the positive, to appreciate what we have, and to share that appreciation with others. When we make gratitude a part of our daily routine, we not only improve our own lives, but we also make the world around us a little bit brighter. And that, in turn, makes us better, stronger, and more capable of handling whatever challenges come our way. Chapter 10. Eliminate what holds you back. There's a lot that holds us back in life. Some of it is obvious: fear, self-doubt, past failures. But there are also the quieter, more insidious things, the habits we've picked up, the limiting beliefs we've internalized, and the things we cling to because they feel familiar, even when they're not helping us move forward. These things keep us stuck, and if we want to get better every single day, we need to eliminate what holds us back. The first thing we need to understand is that we are creatures of habit. Our routines and behaviors become ingrained in us over time, and often we don't even notice when they're no longer serving us. Maybe you're constantly putting things off because you've learned to procrastinate. Maybe you've developed the habit of worrying about things outside your control, or you've built a pattern of avoiding difficult conversations or confrontations. These things may feel comfortable or familiar, but that doesn't mean they're helpful. In fact, they're often the things that keep us from growing, from getting better, and from achieving the success we want. Recognizing these habits is the first step in breaking free from them. It's about being honest with yourself and admitting when something isn't working. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people or external factors when things aren't going well, but the truth is, we often hold ourselves back. We get in our own way because we're too afraid to confront the things that need to change. But growth requires us to face those uncomfortable truths. The second thing we need to address is our limiting beliefs. These are the thoughts and stories we tell ourselves that convince us we're not good enough, that we don't deserve success, or that we're incapable of change. Limiting beliefs are sneaky. They often feel true, and they can hold us back for years if we're not careful. They might sound like, "I'm not smart enough to succeed," or "I'll never be able to change," or "I've already failed, so why bother trying again?" These beliefs can become so ingrained that we stop questioning them, but they don't reflect reality. They are simply the narratives we've adopted about ourselves, and they can be changed if we're willing to challenge them. One of the most powerful ways to eliminate limiting beliefs is to replace them with empowering ones. Instead of telling yourself, "I can't do this," start telling yourself, "I'm capable of learning and growing." Instead of saying, "This is too hard," try saying, "I'm willing to put in the work, and I will improve over time." By consciously choosing to reframe your thoughts, you take back control over the stories you tell yourself. The more you practice this, the more you'll begin to believe it. And when you start believing in yourself, you free yourself from the chains of self-doubt and limitation. But beliefs aren't the only thing that hold us back. Often it's the people and environments we surround ourselves with. We've all heard the saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." It's a cliché, but it's true. The people in our lives influence our mindset, our energy, and our habits. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, or people who don't support your goals, it's going to be much harder to move forward. The same goes for environments that don't nurture growth. If you're constantly in situations where you're discouraged or distracted, it's easy to lose sight of what you want to achieve. That's why it's important to be intentional about the people you choose to spend time with. You need to surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and encourage your growth. These are the people who believe in your potential, even when you don't believe in it yourself. They're the ones who will support you when you face setbacks, and they'll hold you accountable when you get complacent. Seek out those kinds of relationships, and don't be afraid to distance yourself from toxic or draining influences. The same applies to the environments you put yourself in. Are you surrounding yourself with distractions, negativity, or clutter? If so, it might be time to make some changes. A cluttered space can create a cluttered mind. A chaotic environment can create a chaotic mindset. Take a look at your surroundings and ask yourself if they're helping you focus, grow, and succeed. If they're not, it's time to eliminate the things that are contributing to the noise and distraction in your life. Whether it's cleaning up your physical space, limiting your time on social media, or cutting out toxic relationships, creating an environment that supports your goals is key to getting better every single day. Another thing that often holds us back is our attachment to the past. We all have baggage, mistakes we've made, regrets we carry, relationships that have ended, dreams that have faded. These things can be painful, and it's natural to feel attached to them. But the truth is, we can't move forward if we're constantly looking backward. Our past doesn't define us, and the mistakes we've made don't have to dictate our future. It's time to let go of what's holding us back. That doesn't mean forgetting the lessons we've learned or ignoring the experiences that have shaped us. It simply means accepting that we can't change the past, but we can choose how we move forward. Forgiveness plays a huge role in letting go of the past. Whether it's forgiving someone else or forgiving yourself, holding on to grudges and resentment only keeps us stuck. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or forgetting what happened. It means freeing yourself from the emotional weight of the past so that you can move forward with peace and clarity. Holding on to negative emotions only drains your energy and limits your ability to grow. When you forgive, you release that hold the past has on you and make space for new opportunities. Finally, sometimes we hold ourselves back simply because we're afraid to fail. Failure is a natural part of growth, but so many of us fear it so much that we don't even try. We're afraid of what others will think, or we're afraid of the embarrassment, or we simply don't want to face the pain of not succeeding. But failure isn't something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. Every successful person has failed at some point. The key isn't avoiding failure, it's learning from it. Each time you fail, you get closer to success because you gain valuable lessons along the way. Don't let the fear of failure paralyze you. Instead, let it motivate you to try harder, learn more, and grow stronger. If you want to get better every single day, you need to eliminate these things that are holding you back. Break the cycle of bad habits. Challenge your limiting beliefs. Surround yourself with supportive people and environments. Let go of the past, forgive where necessary, and embrace failure as a stepping stone towards success. The more you let go of what's holding you back, the more space you create for growth, progress, and success. It's not easy, but it's worth it. The freedom you'll gain from eliminating these barriers will be the key to unlocking your full potential and becoming the person you're meant to be. Chapter 11. Build a system, not just goals. Most people have goals. They're something we all talk about, think about, and chase after. We set them for ourselves, whether it's to lose weight, get a promotion, build a successful business, or simply improve our relationships. Goals are the driving force behind much of what we do. But what happens when we reach a goal and still feel unfulfilled? What happens when we work hard, but something's missing? More often than not, the problem lies not in the goals themselves, but in how we approach them. You see, goals are important. They give us direction, purpose, and something to strive for. But if we don't have a system in place to support those goals, we're likely to fall short. A goal without a system is like a car without an engine. It might look good, but it's not going anywhere. If you want to get better every single day, you need to focus on building systems, not just setting goals. A system is a set of habits and processes that work together to help you achieve your goals. It's not enough to simply say, I want to be healthier, or I want to make more money. These are vague goals that can leave you feeling directionless. A system, on the other hand, breaks down those big goals into smaller, manageable steps. It focuses on the actions you need to take every day in order to make consistent progress toward your goals. Instead of focusing solely on the outcome, a system focuses on the process. Let me give you an example. Let's say one of your goals is to get fit. You could set a goal to lose 20 pounds, but that goal alone isn't enough. It's too abstract, and it doesn't tell you how you're going to get there. Now, if you build a system around that goal, say by committing to exercise for 30 minutes every day, meal prepping every Sunday, and tracking your calories, you've got a system that you can follow. The system becomes the roadmap that guides your daily actions, and those daily actions are what will ultimately lead you to your goal. The beauty of a system is that it takes the pressure off of achieving the goal right away. Instead of focusing on the finish line, you're focused on the journey. You're taking consistent steps every day, and that is what compounds over time. If you want to make real progress, you need to focus on building habits and routines that reinforce the behaviors you need to succeed. This principle applies to anything in life, whether it's building a business, writing a book, or learning a new skill. A goal like "I want to write a book" can feel overwhelming. It's a big, daunting task. But if you focus on the system, say, writing 500 words every day, setting aside an hour each morning for research, or outlining chapters ahead of time, you break the goal down into manageable chunks. The goal becomes a series of small, consistent actions that build up over time. The key here is that systems are predictable. Goals are not. You can't control when or how you'll reach your goal, but you can control the actions you take. And when you focus on the system, the outcome often takes care of itself. The more you commit to the process, the more progress you'll make, and eventually you'll find yourself achieving goals that once seemed impossible. A system also helps you stay on track when things get tough. Let's face it, life gets in the way. We get busy, we face obstacles, and we experience setbacks. If all you have is a goal, you might be tempted to give up when things aren't going your way. But if you have a system, you know that it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Maybe you miss a workout or skip a day of writing, but the system allows you to get back on track the next day. Systems are forgiving. They don't rely on one perfect moment or a single success. They're about showing up and doing the work, day after day, even when you don't feel like it. The beauty of building a system is that it's sustainable. You're not relying on willpower alone to get through the tough days. Instead, you've created a structure that makes it easier to do the things that will get you closer to your goals. A system makes success a habit, not an occasional achievement. Now, let's talk about how you can create a system for yourself. The first step is to clearly define your goal. What do you want to achieve? Once you've got a clear vision of your goal, you need to break it down into actionable steps. What are the daily, weekly, and monthly actions you need to take in order to reach that goal? This is where the system starts to take shape. Next, think about the habits that will support those actions. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, your system might include waking up at 6 a.m. every day to go for a run, following a training plan, and gradually increasing your distance. If your goal is to build a business, your system might involve dedicating 2 hours every morning to work on your business, reading one business book a month, and networking with others in your industry. The key is to focus on the actions that will move the needle toward your goal, even if they seem small at first. Another important part of building a system is tracking your progress. When you're working on something big, it's easy to get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. That's where tracking comes in. Tracking your progress helps you stay accountable and gives you a visual reminder of how far you've come. Whether it's keeping a log of your workouts, tracking your income and expenses, or marking off days on a calendar. Seeing your progress in real time can keep you motivated and on track. A good system is also flexible. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. But if your system is too rigid, it can feel like a chore. Flexibility is key to keeping things sustainable. For instance, if you miss a day of your system, don't beat yourself up about it. Just get back on track the next day. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Systems are there to help you make consistent improvements over time, not to keep you locked into a specific set of rules. When you start focusing on building systems, you'll notice a shift in your mindset. Instead of being overwhelmed by a big goal, you'll feel more in control of the process. You'll realize that success doesn't come from one massive, life-changing decision. It comes from making small, consistent choices every day. It's in the discipline of showing up, the effort of doing the work, and the commitment to the process, even when things aren't going perfectly. Over time, your system will evolve. You'll get better at it. You'll learn what works and what doesn't. And as you refine your system, you'll start to notice that reaching your goals becomes easier. You won't be relying on motivation or willpower to push you through. You'll have built a solid foundation of habits and routines that support your success. Building a system takes time and effort, but it's worth it. When you focus on the process and the daily actions, you take the pressure off of the outcome. You stop worrying about when you'll reach your goal, because you know that, as long as you're following your system, you're making progress. And in the end, progress is all that matters. Chapter 12. Take responsibility for your life. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward personal growth and success. But let's be honest, it's not always easy. It's much easier to blame circumstances, other people, or even bad luck when things go wrong. It's natural to feel like the world is against you at times, to look for someone or something to hold responsible when you face setbacks. But here's the thing, when you point the finger at others, you lose control over your life. You give up the one thing that could help you change things for the better, your own power. In every situation, whether it's good or bad, there's a choice you can make. You can either accept responsibility, or you can blame the world for what happened. Responsibility means understanding that while you can't control everything that happens in your life, you can control how you respond to it. It's about recognizing that your decisions, actions, and reactions are ultimately what shape your reality. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that you have the power to make choices that impact your future, regardless of past circumstances. The first step in taking responsibility is owning up to your mistakes. This is where most people falter. It's easy to make excuses or deny your role in a situation, but that only keeps you stuck. The truth is, no matter how much you try to shift the blame, you won't move forward until you own what's yours. This doesn't mean you should be overly harsh on yourself. It's not about beating yourself up or wallowing in regret. It's about looking at the situation honestly, learning from it, and taking steps to do better next time. This is especially important when things don't go the way you planned. Failure is part of life, and it's something everyone faces at one point or another. But it's not failure itself that determines your success, it's how you handle it. If you constantly point the finger at others, or at external factors, you'll never take the lessons from those experiences that you need to grow. If you own your mistakes, you open the door to learning. You begin to see challenges, not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to improve. It's about taking control of your life, not waiting for someone else to fix things for you. Another key part of responsibility is recognizing that your actions or lack of actions have consequences. This goes beyond big, life-changing decisions. It's in the everyday choices we make, how we spend our time, how we treat others, how we show up to our commitments. All of these small choices add up to the life we lead. When you take responsibility, you stop making excuses for why you're not where you want to be. Instead of blaming time, money, or other people, you look inward. You ask yourself, what can I do today to move closer to my goals? It's in those daily decisions that change begins. Taking responsibility also means acknowledging that your thoughts and beliefs play a huge role in your life. If you believe that you're a victim of circumstances, that belief will shape your reality. You'll look at every setback as evidence that the world is out to get you. But if you take responsibility for your mindset, you realize that you have the power to change your thoughts. You can choose to see challenges as opportunities. You can choose to see obstacles as stepping stones. By taking responsibility for your thinking, you take control over how you interpret the world around you and how you respond to it. And here's the truth. When you start taking responsibility for your life, you start seeing things differently. You stop waiting for external factors to change before you take action. You stop waiting for the perfect time to start something or the right circumstances to align. You realize that you can create the conditions you need, no matter what's going on around you. This is a liberating realization, because it puts the power back in your hands. When you stop blaming the world, you stop being a victim. And when you stop being a victim, you take control. A big part of taking responsibility is understanding that you are responsible for your success, as well as your failure. Many people are quick to take responsibility for their failures, but they shy away from claiming ownership of their successes. They think they got lucky, or that external factors played a bigger role. But the truth is, your success is just as much a product of your choices and actions as your failures. If you want to get better every single day, you have to own your progress. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem, because they're a reflection of your hard work, dedication, and the responsibility you've taken for your life. When you begin to take responsibility, you also realize that you are the creator of your circumstances. This doesn't mean that life is always going to be easy or that you'll never face difficulties. But it does mean that you are in charge of how you respond to those challenges. You can choose to let setbacks define you, or you can choose to let them fuel your growth. You can choose to stay stuck, or you can choose to take action and move forward. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for others to give you permission to succeed, and you start taking the necessary steps to create the life you want. This is where true personal power lies. It's not in the circumstances you find yourself in, but in how you choose to react to them. You can't control the people around you, the economy, or even the weather, but you can control your attitude and your effort. When you take responsibility, you take control over how you show up in the world. This is where personal growth happens. It's in the moments when you make the decision to take action, to move forward despite your fears, and to do what needs to be done to get closer to your goals. Those decisions made over and over again will shape your future. Taking responsibility also means letting go of the need for approval or validation from others. Many people live their lives constantly seeking external approval. They look to others to tell them they're doing a good job, or to confirm that they're on the right path. But when you take full responsibility for your life, you realize that you don't need anyone else's permission. Your life is yours to create. You can pursue your goals, live by your values, and build the life you want without needing anyone else's approval. When you take responsibility, you free yourself from the constraints of others' opinions and start living in alignment with your own purpose. But here's something else to keep in mind. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you're expected to do it all alone. It doesn't mean you have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. We all need help, support, and guidance along the way. The difference is that when you take responsibility for your life, you don't wait for someone to fix things for you. You seek out help when needed, but you don't rely on others to take action on your behalf. You recognize that, at the end of the day, the responsibility for your life rests with you. At its core, taking responsibility is about empowerment. It's about recognizing that you have the ability to shape your life, no matter what has happened in the past or what challenges you may face. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for the world to change and start taking action to make the changes you want to see. You begin to see yourself as the author of your story, and that gives you the freedom to write your own chapters. So the next time you find yourself wanting to point the finger at someone or something else, take a step back. Ask yourself what role you played in the situation, what can you learn from it, and what can you do to move forward. Taking responsibility is not always easy, but it is always empowering. It's the key to taking control of your life and becoming the person you're meant to be. When you own your actions, your mindset, and your future, you unlock the power to create the life you desire. And that, my friend, is where real growth begins. Chapter 13. Cultivate a mindset of growth. Cultivating a mindset of growth isn't just about learning new things or taking on new challenges. It's about transforming the way you view the world and your place in it. It's about developing a way of thinking that sees opportunity in every setback and potential in every challenge. A growth mindset isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself if you want to get better every single day. Most people live with a fixed mindset, whether they realize it or not. They believe that their abilities, intelligence, and talents are set in stone, that they can't change them no matter how hard they try. If they fail at something, they take it as a sign that they're just not good enough. They believe that success is something that happens to a select few, and that they'll never be one of those lucky few. But here's the truth. None of that is true. Success doesn't come from being born with talent or having everything figured out from the start. It comes from the willingness to learn, to grow, and to adapt. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities can be developed through hard work, dedication, and perseverance. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities to learn rather than obstacles to success. When you adopt this mindset, failure isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace as part of the process. You begin to see that every time you stumble, you learn something new, and that knowledge brings you one step closer to your goal. It all starts with the way you view your challenges. When you have a growth mindset, you don't shy away from difficulty. You don't look for the easiest path or avoid tasks that seem too hard. Instead, you face them head-on. You embrace the struggle because you know that struggle is where the growth happens. The moment you stop being afraid of failure and start seeing it as a necessary part of learning, you unlock the ability to achieve things you never thought possible. Think about the last time you faced something difficult. How did you approach it? Did you look at it as an opportunity to grow, or did you shy away from it because it seemed too hard? When you have a growth mindset, you stop letting your initial discomfort or fear stop you. You start to push through the resistance, knowing that each small step you take forward is part of a larger process. You learn not to expect instant results, but to trust the process and stay committed to improving little by little every single day. One of the key aspects of a growth mindset is the belief that effort leads to improvement. It's easy to think that if something doesn't come easily to you, you're just not meant to do it. But that's not the case. Nothing worth having comes without effort. The more you put into something, the more you get out of it. When you approach challenges with the belief that your effort matters, you begin to realize that you're capable of far more than you thought. The magic happens in the process, not in the outcome. Another important aspect of a growth mindset is the way you approach feedback. When you have a fixed mindset, criticism feels like an attack. You take it personally and may even shy away from seeking out feedback because it's uncomfortable. But with a growth mindset, feedback is a gift. It's an opportunity to learn and improve. Instead of feeling defensive or discouraged, you embrace feedback as a tool to help you grow. When you stop seeing feedback as a reflection of your worth and start seeing it as a tool for improvement, you open yourself up to growth in ways you never could before. This mindset shift also means letting go of the idea that you need to have everything figured out. Many people hesitate to try new things because they feel they need to be perfect from the start. They don't want to make mistakes, so they don't take action. But if you want to grow, you have to be willing to be imperfect. You have to be willing to try, fail, and try again. The most successful people are not the ones who got everything right on the first try. They're the ones who kept showing up, kept learning, and kept growing, even when things didn't go as planned. When you embrace a growth mindset, you stop measuring your worth by your successes or failures. You understand that who you are is not determined by the outcome of any one thing. Instead, you measure your progress by how much you're learning and growing. When you see life as a continuous journey of learning, you stop getting discouraged by setbacks. You understand that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. It's the journey that matters, not just the destination. But it's not just about you. A growth mindset also changes how you view other people. Instead of seeing others' success as something to envy or something that diminishes your own value, you start to see it as inspiration. When you adopt a growth mindset, you understand that someone else's success doesn't take away from your own potential. In fact, their success is proof that what you're striving for is possible. Instead of feeling jealous or threatened by others' achievements, you celebrate them as reminders that you too are capable of achieving your own dreams. Cultivating a growth mindset also means learning to enjoy the process of learning itself. Many people want to reach the end goal so badly that they forget to enjoy the journey. But the truth is, growth isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about the person you become in the process. Every time you push through a challenge, you're becoming stronger, more resilient, and more capable. The more you embrace the process, the more you'll enjoy the journey, and the more fulfilling your life will become. One of the best ways to develop a growth mindset is to surround yourself with people who have one. When you're around people who are constantly pushing themselves to grow, it motivates you to do the same. Find a community of like-minded individuals who believe in the power of learning and improvement. The energy from those around you can help you stay focused and inspired as you work on developing your own growth mindset. But even more important than who you surround yourself with is the way you talk to yourself. Your inner dialogue plays a massive role in shaping your mindset. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, or that you're incapable of learning new things, that becomes your reality. On the other hand, if you tell yourself that every failure is just a step toward learning, and that you're capable of growing and improving every day, that becomes your reality. The way you talk to yourself shapes the way you approach challenges and success. It's important to be kind to yourself, to recognize that growth takes time, and to celebrate every small victory along the way. Developing a growth mindset isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to push through discomfort. But the rewards are worth it. When you start seeing the world through the lens of growth, you begin to understand that there are no limits to what you can achieve. You start to approach life with curiosity instead of fear, and you begin to realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. A growth mindset will help you overcome obstacles, embrace challenges, and ultimately reach your fullest potential. So if you want to get better every single day, start by changing the way you think. Embrace challenges, seek out learning opportunities, and focus on the process of growth. Understand that failure is just another opportunity to learn, and that your effort is what will drive your success. The more you cultivate a growth mindset, the more you'll realize that there's no such thing as a limit to your potential. You can keep growing, learning, and evolving every single day. Chapter 14. Embrace discomfort. Embracing discomfort is a concept that many people tend to avoid or ignore because, let's face it, no one likes feeling uncomfortable. We all want things to be easy, smooth, and effortless. But what if I told you that the greatest growth in life comes from embracing those uncomfortable moments? The moments where you feel uncertain, scared, or out of your element. The truth is, if you want to improve, if you want to grow, and if you want to get better every single day, you need to welcome discomfort into your life, not shy away from it. When we talk about discomfort, most of us think about physical pain or a tough situation that pushes us to our limits. But discomfort isn't always so dramatic. It can come in many forms. It can be that feeling of nervousness before you take on something new, the discomfort of trying to have a difficult conversation, or even the unease that comes from stepping outside of your normal routine. It's not always easy, and it doesn't always feel good in the moment, but it's in those moments of discomfort that you are presented with the most valuable lessons. Think about the last time you pushed yourself beyond your comfort zone. Maybe it was a challenging project at work or an exercise routine that left you out of breath. How did you feel during and after that experience? You probably felt some resistance at first, but once it was over, you likely felt a sense of accomplishment, like you had learned something new about yourself. That sense of pride that comes from overcoming discomfort is what makes growth possible. When you embrace discomfort, you open yourself up to new experiences, new perspectives, and new opportunities for personal development. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone. It's easy to do what you know, stick to what feels safe, and avoid anything that might cause you stress or anxiety. But if you only ever stick to what's comfortable, you'll never stretch beyond your current limitations. You'll never uncover the hidden strengths and abilities that lie dormant inside you. Real growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you push your boundaries, and when you force yourself to step into the unknown. Discomfort isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace because it's a sign that you're moving in the right direction. One of the biggest reasons people avoid discomfort is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of looking foolish. We're all afraid of failing at something, especially when it's something we really care about. But what if I told you that failure is just another form of feedback? Every failure is an opportunity to learn, to get better, and to grow. If you're not failing, then you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. Embracing discomfort means being okay with the idea that you won't always succeed on your first try. It means understanding that failure is part of the process and that you can learn from every setback along the way. When you allow yourself to experience discomfort, you also learn how to handle it. Most people want to avoid feelings of discomfort, but the reality is that these feelings are part of life. Instead of avoiding them, learn to sit with them, observe them, and understand what they're trying to teach you. You don't have to run away from discomfort. You can learn to use it as a tool for personal growth. When you push through discomfort, you become more resilient. You learn to trust yourself more, and you gain confidence in your ability to handle difficult situations. It's also important to realize that discomfort isn't just about pushing yourself physically or mentally. It can also apply to your emotional and social life. Sometimes, the most difficult discomfort to handle is emotional discomfort. Maybe you need to have a hard conversation with a loved one, or you need to confront your own fears and insecurities. These conversations and self-reflections are not easy, but they are necessary for growth. Emotional discomfort forces you to face your vulnerabilities and to work through your challenges, whether they involve relationships, fears, or self-doubt. And while it might be uncomfortable in the moment, The growth that comes from addressing these emotional hurdles will make you stronger and more self-aware. If you're serious about getting better every single day, you need to recognize that discomfort is a necessary part of the journey. There's no way around it. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you are presented with an opportunity to learn something new, to expand your limits, and to grow. The key is to stop seeing discomfort as something to avoid and start seeing it as a signal that you are on the right path. It's a sign that you're doing something that will help you become the best version of yourself. But you might be thinking, isn't there a line between embracing discomfort and overloading yourself? Of course, there's no need to put yourself in situations that are unnecessarily harmful or toxic. The key is balance. Pushing yourself too far too fast can lead to burnout or even self-doubt. But choosing the right kind of discomfort that challenges you in a healthy, manageable way is what leads to growth. Discomfort is not about punishing yourself or going to extremes. It's about gradually stepping into situations that stretch you, challenge your beliefs, and help you become more than you were yesterday. Start small if you need to. If public speaking makes you nervous, begin by speaking in front of a small group of friends. If you want to improve your physical fitness, start by adding an extra 10 minutes to your workout. Over time, those small steps will add up. The more you practice embracing discomfort, the easier it becomes to face bigger challenges down the road. The important thing is to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. Discomfort also teaches you about yourself. It's easy to think you know who you are when you're only doing what's familiar to you. But when you face something that makes you uncomfortable, you learn more about your own strengths, fears, and limits. You discover what really matters to you, what you're capable of, and what you're willing to fight for. Discomfort forces you to confront your limitations, and that confrontation is what leads to breakthroughs. It forces you to reframe your beliefs about what's possible and to redefine your boundaries. So if you want to get better every single day, seek out discomfort. Don't shy away from the hard conversations, the difficult decisions, or the moments that push you to your limits. Embrace them. Recognize that these moments are where your growth lies. Understand that discomfort is not your enemy. It's your ally, pushing you to become more than you were before. Every time you face discomfort head-on, you'll find that you're capable of more than you thought possible. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you'll grow, and the more you'll be prepared for whatever challenges come your way. So don't run from it. Step into it. It's where your greatest potential lies. Chapter 15. Build meaningful connections. Building meaningful connections is one of the most essential aspects of personal growth, and it's one that too many people overlook. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, distracted by tasks, goals, and responsibilities, all while remaining somewhat disconnected from the people who really matter. We often focus on ourselves, on achieving success, and on pushing forward. But the truth is, none of that really matters if we don't have meaningful relationships with others. Our lives are ultimately about the connections we form, the impact we have on the people around us, and the way we help lift each other up. The first thing to understand about building meaningful connections is that it's not about the quantity of relationships you have, it's about the quality. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that the more people you know, the better, but in reality, it's the depth of your connections that makes all the difference. You can have hundreds of acquaintances, but if you don't have a few truly meaningful relationships, your life will likely feel empty. It's the deep, authentic relationships that provide the most fulfillment. These are the relationships where you can be yourself, where there's trust, understanding, and mutual respect. These are the relationships that nourish you, support you, and help you grow into the best version of yourself. Building meaningful connections starts with being open and vulnerable. It's about being willing to share parts of yourself that you might normally keep hidden. When you put yourself out there, when you allow others to see the real you, flaws, fears, dreams and all, you invite others to do the same. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. It's the willingness to show your true self, even when it feels uncomfortable. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create the space for others to connect with you on a deeper level. And when both parties are willing to be vulnerable, that's when the magic happens. That's when a connection goes from being surface level to something truly meaningful. But it's not enough to just be open and vulnerable. You also need to be genuinely interested in others. So many relationships are built on surface-level interactions, where people talk about the weather or exchange pleasantries but never dive deeper. To build meaningful connections, you need to take a genuine interest in other people's lives. Ask questions, listen with empathy, show that you care about their well-being, their dreams and their struggles. When you show people that you're truly interested in them, not just as a means to an end but as a person, your relationships will flourish. People can tell when you're being authentic, and they will appreciate the effort you put into getting to know them. In return, they'll be more likely to open up to you and share their own lives. A key component of building strong connections is also learning how to be present. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to be physically with someone but mentally elsewhere. Maybe you're looking at your phone, thinking about your to-do list, or worrying about the next thing on your agenda. But when you're with someone, truly with them, it creates an entirely different experience. Being present means being fully engaged in the moment, giving that person your undivided attention and focusing on the conversation. It's not about trying to impress someone or win their approval. It's about showing them that they matter, that you're there for them, and that you value their time and energy. When you're present, you give the other person the gift of your undivided attention, and that alone strengthens the connection. Trust is also a crucial element in building meaningful relationships. Without trust, there's no foundation for a deep connection. Trust is built over time, through consistent actions and honest communication. It's about showing up when you say you will, keeping your promises, and being reliable. But it's also about being honest and transparent. When you're honest with others about your feelings, your intentions, and your thoughts, it helps build a sense of safety and security in the relationship. People need to know that they can trust you with their vulnerabilities, their fears, and their dreams, and in turn, you need to be able to trust them. Trust creates the kind of bond that makes relationships truly meaningful and lasting. In order to build and maintain meaningful connections, it's also important to be a source of support for others. One of the best ways to strengthen a relationship is by being there for someone when they need it most. Whether it's offering a listening ear, lending a helping hand, or simply being present during a difficult time, support is what makes a relationship truly meaningful. It's easy to be there for someone when things are going well, but the true test of a relationship is how you show up during the tough times. When you can be there for someone, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable for you, it shows that you truly care about them. It shows that you're committed to the relationship and that you're willing to put in the effort to maintain it. This doesn't mean that you should always be the one giving, though. Meaningful relationships are two-way streets. They require mutual support, effort, and understanding. It's important to give, of course, but it's also important to receive. Many people find it hard to accept help or support from others, but the truth is, meaningful relationships thrive on reciprocity. When you allow others to support you, you strengthen the bond between you. It creates a sense of interdependence where both people contribute to the relationship in meaningful ways. So don't shy away from receiving love, support and care from others. Allow them the opportunity to be there for you, just as you are there for them. Another aspect of building meaningful connections is being willing to have difficult conversations. It's easy to avoid conflict, to sweep issues under the rug, or to let things fester in the background. But avoiding difficult conversations often leads to resentment, misunderstandings, and weakened connections. Building meaningful relationships means being willing to address problems when they arise, and having the courage to speak up when something doesn't sit right with you. It's not about being confrontational or aggressive, it's about being honest and respectful. When you have difficult conversations with others, you show them that you care enough about the relationship to work through challenges together. It's a sign of maturity and commitment to the relationship. Time and effort also play a huge role in building meaningful connections. Relationships don't just happen, they take work. It's easy to get caught up in the demands of everyday life, but the truth is, the people you care about should be a priority. Make the time to nurture your relationships. Whether it's scheduling a weekly phone call with a close friend, planning regular date nights with your partner, or simply checking in on a family member, putting in the effort to stay connected is what keeps a relationship strong. When you prioritize relationships, you show the other person that they matter to you. And when both parties put in the effort, the connection deepens and the relationship flourishes. Lastly, it's important to remember that building meaningful connections isn't about seeking perfection in others. Every person you connect with will have flaws, just as you do. It's about accepting those flaws and still choosing to show up, still choosing to love, still choosing to be there. People are messy, and relationships aren't always perfect. But when you embrace the imperfections, when you accept the messiness of human connections, that's when you find the deepest, most meaningful relationships. It's in the flaws, the quirks, and the challenges that real connection happens. So, if you want to get better every single day, focus on building meaningful connections. Be open, be vulnerable, be present, and be supportive. Put in the effort, be honest, and be willing to work through the tough stuff. Relationships are what make life truly rich. They're what give you purpose, support, and fulfillment. They're the foundation upon which you can build your life, your dreams, and your legacy. The more you invest in meaningful connections, the more you'll see that your life isn't just about what you accomplish on your own. It's about the people you have beside you every step of the way. Chapter 16. Practice patience and persistence. Patience and persistence are two qualities that many people underestimate in today's fast-paced world. We want things now, not later. The rise of instant gratification, through everything from fast food to quick fixes on the internet, has created an environment where people expect immediate results. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with seeking efficiency, the truth is, real growth, real, lasting success, requires patience and a willingness to stick with things even when progress feels slow. The journey of getting better every single day is often a slow, gradual process. It's not a quick sprint to the finish line, but a marathon that requires consistent effort over time. Patience is what allows you to keep going when results aren't immediate. It's what keeps you grounded when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as you would like. It's knowing that success doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the small, consistent actions you take each day, even when they don't seem to be making a huge difference in the moment. At the same time, persistence is the drive to continue on, even when things get difficult or you face obstacles along the way. It's easy to start something, to feel excited and motivated in the beginning. But what happens when the excitement fades and the challenges start to pile up? That's when persistence becomes essential. It's the ability to keep going when things get hard, to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Persistence is what makes success possible, because without it, you'll give up too soon, before the breakthrough happens. I think about the many stories of people who achieved great things, and what strikes me the most is how often those achievements came after long periods of hard work and struggle. The famous inventor Thomas Edison is a perfect example. He failed hundreds if not thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. But what made Edison successful wasn't just his intelligence, it was his persistence. He kept going, even when the world seemed to be telling him that he was wasting his time. Every failure, he believed, brought him closer to success. He had the patience to learn from each mistake, and the persistence to keep trying until he finally got it right. In our own lives, we often experience the same challenges. When you're working toward a goal, there will always be moments where things don't go as planned. You might face setbacks, and at times it may feel like you're moving backward instead of forward. But those are the moments where your patience and persistence matter the most. It's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, when you see the results you expect. But what about when things don't go according to plan? That's when you need patience, and you need persistence more than ever. You need the patience to trust the process, even when you can't see the outcome right away. And you need the persistence to keep going, to stay focused on the long-term vision, rather than getting discouraged by temporary setbacks. When we talk about patience, it's also important to understand that it doesn't mean passivity. Patience doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to happen without taking any action. It's about taking consistent, thoughtful action while trusting that results will come in time. It's about being strategic, about making progress little by little, and about not rushing the process. Many people give up too soon because they expect immediate results. But the truth is, the best things in life take time. Building a career, developing a new skill, or making meaningful changes in your life all take time. They require patience because real growth doesn't happen in an instant. It's built day by day, hour by hour. Persistence, on the other hand, is what keeps you from giving up when the going gets tough. It's easy to quit when things don't go the way you expect. We all have that moment when we want to throw in the towel, when the frustration builds and the temptation to give up is strong. But persistence is the key that unlocks success. It's the ability to push through those tough moments, to stay committed even when the outcome is uncertain. Think about the process of learning something new. Whether it's learning to play an instrument, trying to master a new language, or working toward a fitness goal, you'll inevitably face moments of doubt. You'll feel like you're not making progress, and you'll wonder if it's even worth it. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is persistence. The people who keep going, even when it's hard, are the ones who eventually get to where they want to be. Patience and persistence are also deeply tied to the concept of delayed gratification. In today's world, where we can get nearly anything we want with the push of a button, delayed gratification is a rare skill, but it's a skill that is essential for long-term success. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist the temptation of immediate rewards in favor of bigger, more meaningful ones in the future. It's about understanding that the most worthwhile things in life require time and effort. Whether it's building a successful business, developing a strong relationship, or improving your health, the rewards that come from putting in the work are far more satisfying than the quick short-term fixes that might come along the way. It's about saying no to the easy, instant pleasures in favor of something more valuable down the road. In our quest for growth, we also need to remember that progress isn't always linear. There will be times when it feels like you're stuck, like you're not moving forward. But the truth is, progress is often invisible. It's like planting a seed and waiting for it to grow. You water it, you tend to it, and you do everything right, but it doesn't seem to change much at first. But one day, out of nowhere, you see that it sprouted. That's how growth works. It happens gradually, and sometimes it's only when you look back that you realize how far you've come. Persistence means continuing to do the right things, even when the results aren't immediately visible. I think it's also important to understand that patience and persistence aren't just about working hard, they're also about working smart. You can't just keep pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion and expect success to come. Patience and persistence mean being willing to adjust, to change your approach when needed, and to stay flexible in the face of challenges. It's not about being stubborn for the sake of it, but about staying committed to the process while also being open to learning and adapting along the way. Sometimes, persistence means knowing when to pause, reflect, and recalibrate your strategy so that you can continue moving forward in the right direction. In the end, patience and persistence are about more than just achieving success. They're about developing the character to handle whatever life throws your way. They teach you resilience, humility, and the ability to trust yourself. When you have patience, you learn to trust the process, even when things feel uncertain. When you have persistence, you learn to keep going, no matter how many obstacles stand in your way. And together, patience and persistence create a powerful combination that will help you weather the ups and downs of life and ultimately get better every single day. So, when the road feels long, when the challenges seem insurmountable, remember this: progress doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and persistence, you will eventually see the fruits of your labor. It may take time and it may not always be easy, but if you keep showing up, if you keep putting in the work, and if you stay patient with yourself and the process, you will achieve your goals. And along the way, you'll learn lessons that will serve you for a lifetime. It's not just about reaching the destination, it's about who you become on the journey. Chapter 17. Give back to others. There's something incredibly powerful about giving back to others, something that resonates deeply when you begin to understand that true success is never just about what you accomplish for yourself, but also about the impact you have on the lives of others. We often think of success as a personal journey, about what we achieve, what we build, and how we advance. But in reality, the most meaningful success comes from the way we lift others up along the way. In a world where it's easy to get caught up in our own struggles and desires, it can be easy to forget that we are not islands. We live in a community, and we are all part of something much larger than ourselves. The relationships we build, the way we treat others, and the way we give of ourselves are what ultimately define the legacy we leave behind. Giving back isn't just about charity, it's about making a real tangible difference in the world around you, no matter how big or small. Whether it's helping someone in need, sharing your knowledge, or simply offering a kind word, giving back is one of the most rewarding things you can do. When I talk about giving back, it's not just about money or material goods. It's not about grand gestures or making a splash. The most impactful acts of giving are often the quiet, small things, the things that nobody else might notice, but that matter deeply to the person receiving them. It could be as simple as listening to someone who is struggling, or as profound as volunteering your time to help a cause that's important to you. Giving back doesn't have to involve large sums of money or huge investments of time. It's about showing up, being there for others, and offering what you can when you can. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can make the biggest difference in someone's life. One of the most beautiful things about giving back is that it often comes full circle. The more you give, the more you realize how much it enriches your own life. It shifts your perspective from focusing solely on what you want or need, to focusing on the well-being of others. And when you see the impact of your efforts, it gives you a sense of fulfillment that no material success ever could. There's something deeply satisfying about knowing that you've made someone's life a little bit better. It's a feeling that can't be replicated by any external achievement. It's a sense of purpose, a feeling of connection to something greater than yourself. I remember a time in my life when I was struggling to find meaning in my work. I had achieved a lot professionally and personally, but something still felt empty. It wasn't until I started focusing on how I could help others, how I could give back, that I began to feel a true sense of fulfillment. At first, I started small. I began mentoring a few younger individuals who were looking for guidance, sharing what I had learned through my own experiences. I also started volunteering for causes that were close to my heart. And while I didn't expect anything in return, what I found was that the more I gave, the more I received. I was enriched not by the recognition or praise, but by the connections I built and the difference I was able to make. Giving back doesn't just benefit others, it transforms you. It makes you more compassionate, more empathetic, and more aware of the struggles and needs of the people around you. The more you focus on helping others, the more you realize that you are part of a larger whole. You begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, and you realize that true success is about lifting others up, not stepping on them to get ahead. It's about creating a positive ripple effect that spreads out far beyond your own life. When you help someone, whether through an act of kindness or a significant gesture, you not only improve their life, you improve your own. You grow as a person, becoming more generous, more selfless, and more attuned to the needs of others. The act of giving back also teaches you humility. When you give, you are reminded that you don't have all the answers, that you don't have all the resources, and that you don't have to do it all alone. It's a reminder that we are all dependent on one another, and that none of us is truly self-made. We all rely on the support, the guidance, and the generosity of others to get to where we are. By giving back, you acknowledge that, and you embrace the idea that life is about mutual support and shared growth. You don't have to have all the answers or the resources to make a difference. Sometimes, the simple act of being present for someone else is all they need. And when you give back, you also set an example for others to do the same. People are inspired by actions more than words. And when you model generosity and selflessness, you encourage others to do the same. It creates a cycle of giving, a ripple effect that spreads from person to person, from community to community. Imagine if everyone adopted a mindset of giving, of helping others without expecting anything in return. The world would be a very different place. Giving back, in its most basic form, is about creating that change, one small act at a time. But giving isn't always easy. It's not always convenient. Sometimes it requires sacrifices, whether it's your time, your energy, or your resources. And sometimes it can be difficult to give when you feel like you're struggling yourself. But this is where true giving comes into play. The most meaningful acts of giving are often those that come at a personal cost. They're the moments when you push past your own discomfort, your own challenges, to help someone else. And while it might feel difficult in the moment, it's precisely these acts that bring the most satisfaction. Giving when it's not easy is a true expression of selflessness, and it's what makes the act of giving so powerful. At the same time, it's important to understand that giving back doesn't always mean sacrificing your well-being. You can give generously without draining yourself. You can make a difference without burning out. It's about finding balance and being intentional with your efforts. You don't have to say yes to every request or take on every responsibility. The key is to give in ways that align with your values and your capacity. Giving should feel fulfilling, not overwhelming. It should energize you, not deplete you. It's about finding ways to give that bring you joy, that inspire you, and that allow you to be a positive force without losing yourself in the process. It's also worth mentioning that giving doesn't always have to involve other people directly. Sometimes, the best way to give back is to contribute to something larger than yourself, whether that's a cause, an organization, or a community. You don't have to be on the front lines to make a difference. You can support the work of others, contribute your skills or resources, or simply raise awareness for an issue that matters to you. Giving back takes many forms, and every effort, no matter how small, has value. Giving back is also a reminder that we all have something to offer. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much status you've achieved, everyone has something they can give. Whether it's your time, your expertise, your kindness, or simply your presence, you have something valuable to offer the world. The more you realize this, the more empowered you become. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who needs to take, and you start thinking of yourself as someone who can give. In the end, the act of giving back is about making the world a better place, not just for yourself, but for everyone. It's about creating a legacy of kindness, of generosity, and of love. It's about recognizing that success isn't just about what you achieve for yourself, but about the positive impact you have on the lives of others. And when you make giving back a central part of your life, you'll find that your own life becomes richer, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. So take a step back and ask yourself how you can give. How can you contribute to the world around you? How can you make someone else's life better, even in the smallest of ways? The answer to that question will transform your life and the lives of those around you in ways you never imagined. Chapter 18. Use failure as fuel. Failure is one of the most misunderstood aspects of success. Society often portrays failure as something to avoid at all costs, as something negative, something that shows weakness or incompetence. But if you're going to make progress in your life, if you're going to truly get better every day, you need to shift your perspective on failure. Because failure isn't something to be feared or avoided, it's a powerful tool, one that has the potential to propel you toward your goals if you know how to use it. We all know that failure is part of life. No one escapes it. Everyone has experienced it at some point, whether it's a failed project at work, a business venture that didn't pan out, a relationship that ended, or a personal goal that fell short. Failure happens. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they respond to failure. Most people see failure as the end of the road. They take it personally. They feel like it's a reflection of their worth or abilities. But the truth is, failure is just a moment, not a verdict on who you are as a person. It's not the end unless you choose to let it be. When you fail, it's easy to get discouraged, to feel like you're not good enough, or that you're never going to succeed. It's easy to fall into self-doubt and let the negative voice in your head take over. But the key is to remember that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. It's a necessary part of the process. When you fail, it means you're trying. It means you're stepping outside your comfort zone. It means you're taking risks. And that's the first step toward growth. It means you're not staying stagnant, that you're not playing it safe, that you're actively pursuing something better. The first thing you need to do when you fail is to reframe it. Instead of seeing it as a defeat, see it as a lesson. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? Failure is an opportunity to reflect, to take stock, and to identify areas where you can improve. It's a chance to build resilience, to strengthen your resolve, and to sharpen your skills. The most successful people in history didn't get there by avoiding failure. They got there by learning from it, by using it as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle. They embraced it, acknowledged it, and then moved forward with more wisdom and determination than before. Thomas Edison, for example, is often quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He didn't see his numerous attempts to invent the light bulb as failures. He saw them as experiments, as part of the process of discovery. And that's exactly how we need to approach failure. It's an experiment, a test, an opportunity to see what doesn't work, so that we can refine our approach and find what does work. When you embrace failure in this way, it becomes a valuable part of your growth journey, rather than something to fear or avoid. But learning from failure isn't always easy. It's hard to keep your head up when things don't go as planned, when you've put in the work, made sacrifices, and still come up short. In those moments, it's important to give yourself permission to feel disappointed, frustrated, or upset. It's okay to be upset when things don't go the way you want them to. It's natural, but don't stay in that place for too long. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, but then move forward. Don't let failure define you. Don't let it be the story you tell yourself. Instead, use it as fuel for your next attempt. Use it as motivation to get better, to refine your skills, to push harder next time. One of the most important things to remember when you fail is to not take it personally. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It doesn't mean you're a failure as a person, and it doesn't mean you'll never succeed. It just means that you've encountered a setback, and that's all it is, a temporary setback. Your worth is not defined by the outcome of any single attempt. Your worth is defined by your persistence, your determination, and your ability to keep going even when things get tough. One thing that helps in these moments is perspective. When you fail, it's easy to focus only on the negative. But if you zoom out, you'll see that failure is just one part of the bigger picture. In the grand scheme of your life, one failure doesn't define you. It doesn't have to be the end of the road. It's just a small chapter in a much larger story. And just like any good story, there will be ups and downs. There will be moments of triumph and moments of defeat. The key is to keep going, to not let the failures stop you, but to use them as stepping stones toward your ultimate goal. You also need to remember that failure isn't the same thing as giving up. Failure is a part of the process. Quitting is a choice. Just because something didn't work out the way you hoped doesn't mean it's time to walk away. It's time to reevaluate, to adjust your approach, and to try again. Sometimes failure means you're on the right track, but you need to adjust your methods. It's like trying to solve a puzzle. You may not get the right answer on the first try, but with each wrong answer, you get closer to the right one. What often happens is that people give up too soon. They try once or twice or 3 times, and when they don't see immediate results, they throw in the towel. But real growth and success come from pushing through those difficult moments. The people who succeed are the ones who refuse to quit, who are willing to keep going even when things get tough. And the only way to build that kind of resilience is to embrace failure, to let it teach you, to let it guide you toward better strategies and better outcomes. The key to using failure as fuel is to not dwell on the past. It's easy to get stuck in the what-ifs and the should-have-dones, but that's a trap. The past is over. It's done. What matters is what you do next. The faster you can move on from failure, the quicker you can get back on track and take the next step forward. Every failure is an opportunity to refine your approach, to tweak your plan, and to become better than you were before. It's all part of the process. If you look at the most successful people in the world, you'll see that they've all failed in some way. They've faced challenges, setbacks, and defeats. But they didn't let those things stop them. They used failure as a tool to get better. They saw it as part of their journey, not something to be avoided or feared. And that's the attitude you need to adopt if you want to get better every single day. It's important to remember that success is rarely a straight line. There will be twists and turns, and there will be bumps in the road. But that's okay. The key is to stay committed, to keep learning, and to never give up. Failure is just a temporary setback, a momentary obstacle, and when you embrace it as part of the process, you'll find that it no longer holds you back. Instead, it will propel you forward, giving you the fuel you need to keep going, to keep striving, and to keep improving. So the next time you fail, remember this failure is not the end. It's a step on the road to success. Use it as fuel, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Because in the end, it's not the failure that defines you, it's how you respond to it. And when you respond with resilience, determination, and a commitment to growth, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Chapter 19. Simplify to focus on what matters. When you're trying to build something meaningful in your life, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. The world is full of distractions, things that pull at your attention and demand your time. It's not just the obvious distractions, like social media or news cycles, but also the smaller things, the daily tasks, and the endless commitments that seem important at the time. The truth is, all of these things can easily prevent you from focusing on what truly matters, from putting your energy toward the things that will move you closer to your goals. That's why learning to simplify your life is so crucial. Simplification isn't about doing less for the sake of doing less. It's about focusing your time and energy on what really matters, and cutting out everything that doesn't align with your purpose or your vision. The first step in simplifying your life is to understand that not everything deserves your attention. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with messages, tasks, and demands. It can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you need to do everything all the time in order to succeed, but that's simply not true. When you try to do everything, you end up doing nothing well. You spread yourself too thin, and you dilute your energy and focus. Simplification is about being selective, about understanding that your time and attention are finite resources, and that you can't afford to waste them on things that don't serve your greater purpose. You might look at your to-do list, your calendar, or your daily routine, and feel like there's just too much going on. And in many cases, you'd be right. The average person's schedule is packed with obligations, appointments, and tasks, many of which are not even that important. You might find yourself checking off items just to check them off, without ever stopping to ask yourself if they're moving you toward your larger goals. This is where simplification starts, by asking yourself, does this thing really matter? Is this taking me closer to where I want to go? When you start questioning everything you do, you'll quickly realize that a lot of it is unnecessary. Some of the things that fill your day might seem important, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't move the needle. They don't bring you closer to your goals or help you grow. For example, maybe you've been spending too much time scrolling through social media or binge-watching TV shows that add little value to your life. Sure, these activities can provide temporary distraction or entertainment, but do they really align with what you want to accomplish? Do they help you develop the habits, mindset, and skills that will help you become the person you want to be? Simplifying your life means cutting back on these distractions. It's not about eliminating everything that's fun or relaxing, but rather about being intentional with how you spend your time. If you want to succeed, if you want to get better every single day, you need to spend your time on things that matter. And this goes beyond just being productive. It's about creating space for the things that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over surface-level engagements. Start by identifying your top priorities, the things that matter most to you and that align with your vision for your life. These are the areas where you want to invest your time and energy. For some it might be family, for others it might be career or personal growth. Whatever it is, be clear about what those priorities are. Once you've identified them, Take a hard look at the rest of your life. What are you spending time on that doesn't align with your priorities? What can you eliminate or reduce? This doesn't mean you have to do away with everything that isn't directly tied to your goals. Life is about balance, after all. But what it does mean is that you have to be intentional about where you place your energy. If you're spending too much time on things that aren't helping you grow, it's time to let go of them. Simplifying your life requires making tough decisions and letting go of the things that no longer serve you. Once you begin simplifying, you'll notice a shift. Instead of feeling overwhelmed and scattered, you'll start to feel more focused and centered. You'll have more energy, more clarity, and a greater sense of purpose. You'll realize that by saying no to some things, you've created room for the things that really matter. Your time is precious, and when you start investing it in the things that align with your goals, you'll start to see real progress. Simplicity also extends to your mental and emotional state. We often complicate our lives by overthinking or worrying about things that are outside of our control. It's easy to get caught up in negative thought patterns or to ruminate on past mistakes and future uncertainties. But simplifying your life means letting go of this mental clutter. It means learning how to focus on the present moment, how to be mindful of your thoughts and emotions, and how to let go of things that no longer serve you mentally and emotionally. One of the most powerful ways to simplify your mental state is through mindfulness practices. This doesn't mean sitting cross-legged and meditating for hours on end, though if that works for you, great. It simply means learning to be present, to focus your attention on the task at hand, and to let go of the constant mental chatter that distracts you from what really matters. When you're mindful, you're able to engage fully with whatever you're doing, whether it's working on a project, spending time with family, or simply enjoying a quiet moment by yourself. You're not distracted by worries or regrets, but fully immersed in the experience. This mental clarity carries over into other areas of your life. When you simplify your thoughts, you simplify your decisions. You stop overanalyzing and second-guessing yourself, and you start making choices that align with your purpose. You stop getting bogged down by small, inconsequential things, and you start focusing on the bigger picture. You stop allowing distractions to take you off course, and you start moving forward with intention and direction. Simplifying your life also involves looking at your physical environment, your space. Whether it's your home, your office, or even your digital space, has a huge impact on your ability to focus and stay productive. When your surroundings are cluttered, it's hard to think clearly and stay organized. But when you create a clean, organized environment, you'll find that your mind becomes clearer as well. You'll be able to think more clearly, make better decisions, and be more focused on your work and your goals. The act of decluttering is a great way to simplify your physical space. This doesn't mean throwing everything away, but rather being intentional about what you keep. What do you actually need? What brings you joy? What adds value to your life? Let go of the excess, the things that weigh you down or distract you. Create a space that supports your goals, your well-being, and your peace of mind. The same goes for your digital space. How many emails, notifications, and apps do you have that don't serve you? How many hours do you spend on your phone, mindlessly scrolling through things that don't contribute to your goals or personal growth? Simplifying your digital life means cutting back on the noise, unsubscribing from unnecessary emails, deleting apps that waste your time, and setting boundaries around your use of technology. This creates more mental space, less stress, and more room for meaningful work. When you begin to simplify, you'll find that your life becomes easier. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and more in control. The constant overwhelm and pressure of trying to do everything will fall away, and you'll be left with the things that truly matter. You'll realize that simplicity is the key to a more fulfilling and successful life. Because when you focus on what's important and eliminate what's not, you create space for growth, purpose, and peace of mind. So take a step back, simplify, and see how much more you can achieve when you stop wasting energy on the things that don't matter. Chapter 20. Become a lifelong learner. As you move forward in life, it's crucial to understand that the journey of growth and success never truly ends. We tend to think of success as a destination, something to reach, achieve, and then rest upon. But the truth is, the most successful and fulfilled individuals are those who never stop learning, never stop growing. They embrace the idea of being a lifelong learner, constantly seeking new knowledge, new experiences, and new ways to improve themselves. The idea of stopping, of thinking that you've learned all there is to learn, is not only limiting, it's a fast track to stagnation. If you want to continue getting better every single day, you must commit yourself to the lifelong pursuit of learning. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that education stops once you leave school. We're taught that once we earn our degrees or certifications, we've completed the learning phase of our lives. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Learning doesn't end with a diploma or a graduation ceremony. In fact, that's just the beginning. Life offers endless lessons, many of which don't come from textbooks or classrooms. The experiences you go through, the people you meet, and the challenges you face all contribute to your personal education. And the sooner you realize that learning is not confined to formal settings, the sooner you'll begin to unlock your true potential. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new. Whether it's a small insight or a major revelation, the more open you are to learning, the more you'll grow. The key is to be curious. Approach each day with the mindset of a student, eager to absorb whatever lessons come your way. Be open to new ideas, new perspectives, and new methods. Don't get so caught up in your own way of thinking that you close yourself off to the possibility of learning from someone or something else. Life is constantly changing, and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. Learning isn't just about accumulating facts or gaining new skills. It's also about developing a deeper understanding of yourself. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, and this realization is powerful. It's a reminder that growth is a lifelong process. The more knowledge you gain, the more you see how vast the world is, and how much there still is to discover. It's humbling. It's also incredibly empowering, because it keeps you grounded in the idea that no matter where you are in life, there's always room for improvement, always room for growth. One of the most valuable aspects of lifelong learning is the ability to learn from your mistakes. Every failure, every misstep, is a lesson in itself. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that successful people avoid failure, it's that they use failure as a learning tool. They don't let it define them or hold them back. Instead, they see it as a stepping stone, an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. The most successful people are not the ones who have never failed, but the ones who have failed the most and learned the most from those failures. The path to becoming a lifelong learner requires a mindset shift. It's about shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents are fixed traits that cannot be changed. This mindset leads to a fear of failure, because you believe that if you fail, it means you're not good enough, that you've reached your limit. On the other hand, a growth mindset is the belief that you can always improve, that with effort and persistence, you can develop new skills, increase your intelligence, and grow into a better version of yourself. People with a growth mindset view failure as a learning opportunity, and they're constantly seeking ways to improve. Developing a growth mindset takes time, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your personal development. It means embracing challenges, pushing through obstacles, and always striving to learn more. It means being willing to step outside of your comfort zone, to take risks, and to make mistakes along the way. But with each mistake comes growth. With each new lesson, you become a little bit wiser, a little bit stronger, and a little bit closer to the person you want to become. A key part of becoming a lifelong learner is embracing a sense of curiosity. In our busy lives, it's easy to forget the importance of asking questions. We get so caught up in the day-to-day grind that we stop asking why and how and start just going through the motions. But curiosity is the fuel for growth. It's the spark that keeps the flame of learning alive. The more curious you are, the more you explore, the more you discover. It opens up new avenues of thought and helps you see things from different angles. Curiosity leads to new opportunities, new experiences, and new ways of thinking. It drives innovation and creativity. It keeps you sharp and engaged with the world around you. In today's world, learning has become more accessible than ever before. There are countless resources available: books, online courses, podcasts, webinars, workshops on almost any subject you can imagine. The only thing standing between you and new knowledge is your willingness to take action. If there's something you want to learn, go out and find it. The world is full of experts, teachers, and mentors who are eager to share their knowledge. Seek them out. Don't wait for someone to hand you knowledge on a silver platter. Take charge of your own education. Lifelong learning also means being open to different perspectives. In a world that's often divided, it's easy to become set in your ways, to surround yourself only with people who think and believe the same things you do. But true growth comes from being exposed to diverse ideas, from learning from people with different backgrounds, experiences, and viewpoints. It's through these differences that we expand our understanding of the world and of ourselves. The more you learn from others, the more you broaden your own perspective and develop empathy. You realize that there's more than one way to view the world, and that each person you meet has something valuable to teach you. At the same time, it's important to recognize that learning is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about applying it. You can read all the books, attend all the seminars, and listen to all the podcasts, but if you don't take action on what you learn, it's all for nothing. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. It's the application of knowledge that leads to real change. So, as you learn, make sure you're also putting that knowledge into practice. Whether it's through your work, your personal development, or your relationships, actively applying what you learn will help you grow in ways that passive learning never can. To become a lifelong learner, you must also be willing to challenge yourself. It's easy to stick to what you already know, to stay in your comfort zone and only tackle things that you feel confident in. But real growth happens when you push past those limits. When you take on new challenges, you stretch yourself. You open yourself up to new experiences that help you learn and grow in ways you never imagined. It's through these challenges that you develop resilience, strength, and adaptability. You learn how to deal with adversity, how to stay calm under pressure, and how to find solutions to problems you may have never encountered before. These challenges are the true tests of your character, and they help you become a better version of yourself. Finally, understand that learning is a journey, not a destination. You will never reach a point where you know it all, and that's okay. The pursuit of knowledge and self-improvement is an ongoing process. The key is to stay committed to it, to make learning a lifelong habit. As you continue to learn, you'll find that you grow in ways you never imagined. Your confidence will grow, your skills will improve, and your perspective will expand. And with each new piece of knowledge you gain, you'll be one step closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. So if you want to continue getting better every single day, embrace the idea of lifelong learning. Keep asking questions, keep seeking answers, and never stop growing. Because the journey of learning is the journey of life itself. It's what keeps us moving forward, evolving, and becoming better versions of ourselves every day.